Welcome, everybody, to Mom Street USA. My name is Kate, aka the Disney Cicerone, and this is my lovely partner, Jacque, aka Wishes Mama. We have a wonderful episode for you tonight that is all about Magic Kingdom snacks, the best snacks in Magic Kingdom, and I'd say the top 10, but it's kind of a little bit more than 10. So we're just giving you the best snacks, our recommendations from not only us, but also our Mom Street community that have chimed in and let us know what they love to eat.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk Magic Kingdom. I feel a little bit more aware of some of these than I did last week. If you missed our episode last week, we did start our whole snack series at Animal Kingdom. So you can find that episode on our podcast and on our YouTube page as well. Links to those are in our bio. But I'm excited because I feel like I have a better grasp of what's available at Magic Kingdom than I did for Animal Kingdom.
Well, in a couple weeks, I'll be in Disneyland itself, and we'll get to do an episode live from Disneyland talking about the snacks there, which, if you know anything about me, you know how much I advocate for the food at Disneyland and how amazing it is. So that will be a really fun episode to do as well.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to that one for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like I really learned from researching this one that, you know, you kind of get stuck in your ways for snacks if you go to Disney a lot. You're like, I always get this thing and this thing and this thing, which is great because they're great. It's great. But sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I could try that and maybe find a new favorite. So yeah, this is really helpful for that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And a small disclaimer that we said at the beginning of last week. These are current prices and current availability as of February 2nd, 2023. So we're going to give you guys kind of everything that is as it is now, but, you know, subject to change. The parks are known to rotate through snacks and food options or adjust prices from time to time. So just keep that in mind. This is all kind of what is available currently at this moment.
Lem, a couple of weeks by like the 21st to 24th of February. So,
I think you're just going to miss him. I think
That's
he's
funny.
going at the beginning of March.
Oh, bummer. That would have been really fun. But I'll see him back at Disney World. It's fine.
Right. It's fine. Perfect. All right. Are we ready to jump into snacks?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, kicking this off with a bang, this first snack that we're going to talk about was suggested to us by both Lem and Kirk. If you don't know them, Lem is Magic Bands and Trash Cans, and Kirk is Walrus Carp. They are two of our very good friends here in our Disney community, and we got some input from both of them, as well as, like Kate mentioned, some of our other community members as well. But we are going to talk about the candied bacon skewer.
Ta-da!
Da-da-da! So it is a brown sugar-coated bacon that is served, obviously, on a skewer, and it's served with chips as well. It will run you $9.99, and you find that at Westward Ho Refreshments.
And I've actually never tried this because we tried to try this the last time I was there, and they had run out because it's that popular. So
yeah. And it was like early when you guys went to try it too. It wasn't like it was super late in the day.
No, it was not. It was maybe early afternoon. So just be aware, it might run out since it's popular.
Right. Okay. And Lemuel is telling me in my chat pro tip, he said, ask for no chips, and it is only $6 then.
Love that.
So if you're looking for just a little snack, that could be an option as well.
I don't think I can make it bigger than this. I just realized. But so if Westward Ho, if you're looking for it, is kind of in Frontierland. It's going to be, you might not be able to see the number, but it's number 30 on this, kind of before the river bends. Right there next to the river is where Westward Ho is located.
Yeah, pretty much right as you walk out of the Big Thunder Mountain space on the left side right there. Yeah. Oh, that's right, Kirk. Kirk did try to ask for no chips and got denied by that cast member. So, subject to cast member mood, you may or may not be able to get it without chips for $6, I guess.
That's funny.
So, yeah, maybe something that we'll have to do a little bit more research. Mileage may vary. There you go, Kirk.
All
So
right.
yes, again, that candied bacon skewer with the chips will run you $9.99 from Westward Ho.
Everyone's saying now they want bacon, or I think it's Katrina says she was eating bacon. Yeah. That particular picture I showed too had a lot of fat on it. So like it's kind of like you get what you get with it. So you might get a
Yeah.
piece that has a lot of fat or maybe not as much. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
as the snacks go.
Yeah, exactly. So, staying put, actually, the first couple snacks that we're going to talk about are all in the same location at Westward Ho. Let's go from savory to sweet, talking about now the Wendell's Bear Claw, which you can find again at Westward Ho. And there, Kate is showing us the lovely picture of that bear claw. It will run you $6.25. And it is a traditional bear claw dipped in chocolate and sprinkled with hazelnuts on the top.
It looks
And
really
that
good.
looks delicious. That is on my list.
I've never tried that personally, but I'm on board for anything chocolate hazelnut. Like I'm there.
Yeah.
It is a little bit smaller than I thought. Like I thought it was like I always thought bear claws were really big, but this is maybe like a baby bear. It's a little bear.
A little bear. Just a little bear. Oh, and Kirk is giving us the scoop. Inside is filled with Nutella.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I had a picture of it cut and then I forgot to post it, so here we are. But just as a heads up too, we want to give a shout out to Disney Food Blog. A lot of these pictures do come from them, and they are also a really good resource if you're just trying to do research on menus and reviews and things like that in general. So little heads up for that.
Yeah, love it. So again, that is the Wendell's Bear Claw from Westward Ho. Will run you $6.25. And staying at Westward Ho.
Wait, one thing.
Oh, yes.
Kirk says the Roaring Fork bear claw is huge, like a big boy bear size. And I remember that when we were there. Yeah. So if you want a really big bear claw, go to Roaring Fork over there in the Wilderness Lodge.
There you go. So depending on your size preference. Perfect. All right. Are we good now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I didn't want to skip over any bear claw talk. Important things.
Very important things.
All right. So again, at Westward Ho, this is just a popular stand for a lot of the snacks that we have found and researched. This is one of Lem's picks, and they are the jalapeno poppers at Westward Ho.
With ranch.
Is showing there. They are served with ranch. Yes. So they are breaded jalapeno peppers stuffed with nacho cheese and served with ranch.
Every time I see this, it's going to remind me now of Dean from England,
Yep.
our friend Dean, who had never tried really ranch before. He's like, this stuff was really good. And then he wanted to take a whole suitcase home from England. So, yeah, I have had these. These are spicy because they're jalapenos. So if you're not someone who does spicy food, probably a pass. But I actually really enjoyed these. I thought they were good. Not like a gourmet food, but if you think jalapeno poppers, they're good. I enjoyed them.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know that I would do those ones. I'm not a spicy person, but more power to you if you are.
I know. I'm not a spicy person either, and I was like, I'm going to try one, though, just so I know what they taste like. And actually, I did enjoy it. It was just a little on the spicy side for me. So.
Yeah. Good. Nice. So again, those will run you, I don't think I said the price, $5.79. So those are the jalapeno poppers from Westward Ho, $5.79. So again, Westward Ho is a good place if you're over on that side of the park.
Here's the map again in case you missed it. It's over there.
So again, right at the exit area kind of Big Thunder, that walkway. But if you're over in that area, it's a good bet that you're going to find something that you like at Westward Ho. So definitely a good spot to stop if you're looking for a snack while you're hanging out in that area of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, apparently that's like, there's a lot of snacks there. So
I know.
a lot of good snacks, I should say. There's a lot of places to get snacks. They're not all good. They're not equal.
Yeah.
Westward Ho's a solid bet. So
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so moving right along. Yes, Snack Central. Lem says it's Snack Central. Exactly. All right, moving on along to a somewhat controversial pick because I've heard good and bad, but I felt like these next ones needed to be mentioned on our snack show, and those are the spring rolls. Perfect. So these can be found at the Adventureland Egg Roll Wagon, and they have multiple different kinds. that you can order from that cart, and they will cost you $9.50 for two.
Yeah, which is feels like it's really steep, but everything I have not actually personally tried these because they just didn't appeal to me. But there's a lot of people said they're just very filling. So I don't know if you feel free to chime in if that's your experience of them. A lot of people saying spring rolls are the best. Hoping Aaron says, I hope the spring rolls were going to make an appearance. So they are a favorite from a lot of people. I feel like it's very debated. That they're a little controversial because some people are like, what is this?
Yeah. I mean, in my chat, like Kathy says that they like them, but April says they're not her favorite. So you get a little bit of both.
Yeah. The ones I'm showing you here, these are the cheeseburger ones. And they've got that like cheese dip, I think, with them. I think it's cheese. Pretty sure it's cheese. Because the one that's the 50th anniversary one, I don't have a picture of that, but that one has mustard with it, I think.
Yes. Yeah, Kaya says I'm obsessed with them when I don't want to wait for any quick service.
Yeah, they said people either love them or hate them. Yep. It looks like the cheeseburger spring rolls are a win. Someone wants to know does Lem have strong opinions on them? I feel like he might. I feel like we all.
He said I'd rather stay at Swan and Dolphin than eat those spring rolls.
Oh, that's bad. Oh no.
So
I mean, it was Swan and Dolphin, but he didn't say like All Stars something. It also sports or something.
That's true. So, controversy aside, let's talk about the options that you have at the egg roll wagon for the spring rolls. They do have the cheeseburger spring rolls that Kate was just showing a little bit ago. Those are seasoned ground beef, cheese, onions, ketchup, pickle, and mustard all mixed together, rolled into a spring roll wrap, and then deep fried. And it is recommended to do a ranch dipping sauce with those ones. They also have buffalo chicken spring rolls. And they have the 50th anniversary spring rolls, which I think actually might be the one you just showed because that looked more like mustard than ranch.
It did. I'm starting to look at it. I'm like, it might be. I don't know.
So the 50th ones are pastrami and pepper jack served with a mustard dipping sauce. So that's an interesting
It could be
combo,
either,
I
really.
like.
I mean, use your imagination. It could be one spring roll. It could be the other. Who knows? Because you can't tell what's inside. So.
Yeah. Lem says he likes the pastrami better than the cheeseburger ones.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, and I heard that the buffalo chicken ones aren't always available. Like they've had them sometimes and haven't had them others. So something to... That does happen with some menus at Magic Kingdom. Things will just disappear for a while, probably because they just don't have the ingredients on hand or didn't get a shipment or something. You know, the way the world is right now. So things will disappear and then reappear, and so
Who knows? And you never know when it may happen.
No,
I will also mention that they do have a combo option where you can pick any two for that as well. So depending on if you want to mix and match for your spring roll snack.
Yeah, that's a great option if you want to try more than one. It's great.
Yeah, people on my side are saying the sauce that comes with the cheeseburger ones is not the best inside because it's just ranch to dip it in. So it must be the inside sauce. They must not like the mustard.
Yeah, Christina doesn't like the pastrami one, and Aaron's questioning Lem's taste in food. So,
Watch out. Watch out. Hi, Crystal. Lem says the pastrami at least has salt, unlike the soggy, tasteless mess that the cheeseburger ones are.
Wow, this is so controversial.
I said it was going to be controversial.
Stepping in it. We're just informing you about the snacks. You can make your own opinions.
Yep.
We do appreciate, though, hearing from all of you, because it just gives us some perspective that we just all have different tastes in food. Some people love something that another person is not going to like, and that's okay. We're all made differently.
Yeah.
So.
Lem also said, to be fair, they're both bad.
I want to hear what Lem thinks about the bao buns in Disneyland. That's what I want to hear about. So, Lem, report back when you take them.
Oh, God. Add it to your list. Add it to your list. And I don't think, did we show on the map where you can find that?
We did not here.
Wagon.
And it's actually not numbered on here. It's funny because this map doesn't zoom in like I want it to. So I'm going to have you maybe describe where it is here.
Okay. So It is kind of right after the bridge that goes into Liberty. Well, it's technically like between Liberty Square and Adventureland. So
I think
there's
it's
a
to the
whole bunch.
entrance to Adventureland. It's like
Is it on that side?
Yeah, it's before the official.
Oh,
entrance,
down further.
I believe.
Yes, I see
Yeah.
now. So if you see where all the yellow is on the map, I'm going to do a really terrible job at describing that. It is kind of right at the entrance from the hub into Adventureland.
Just head towards Adventureland from the
Yes.
center hub. You'll
Yes,
probably
Kirk
see
says
it.
just in front of Adventureland sign on the right. Thank you. I was like, I'm going to do a terrible job at describing where this is.
No worries. I'm going to see if I can find a better map after we get the next one here.
Perfect. That works. So again, those are the spring rolls. They are $9.50 for 2 of them, and you can find them at that Adventureland egg roll wagon.
All right. Shall we move on to our next pick?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Crystal, our shirts are our logo for Mom Street USA, which is the show and podcast that we are recording currently that you have joined us for. So that's what's on the shirts.
And I don't know if is mine flipped or not. I can never tell.
I can see yours the right way.
Okay.
Is mine...
Yours
I can never
is
tell anymore because I feel like TikTok
not.
changed the settings.
I know. I don't. Yours is backwards. So.
Okay.
But I can't tell because mine still looks backwards, which is really frustrating. So
Yeah.
good
No,
times.
yours is the right way for me. So
I have a couple people asking me when my next trip is to Disney. I'm going to Disneyland like the last week of February, last full week of February, and I'm going to Disney World the end of March. So yeah.
there
you
did
go.
that fix it. Yay. See, and that is so weird because like my view of myself did not change.
Right. That's why I said, I'm like, I don't know if this is backwards. It might be. So good times. All right. Well, shall we move on to our next
Anyway, sorry, technical difficulties. Here we go. All right, moving right along. Let's talk tater tots. Let's talk the loaded tots, creamy bacon mac and cheese loaded tots from Friar's Nook.
Put the picture not on an angle. It looks good.
I love it. So they are a bowl of creamy, cheesy mac and cheese, a ring of tater tots, a pile of bacon, and a dollop of sour cream garnished with green onions.
It looks really good. And then you had mentioned some other one too, but I haven't seen it on the menu.
Yeah, the claim in the research that I was doing. So again, I mentioned last episode, I don't think I've mentioned this episode, I did a ton of different research across blogs and all sorts of other places to find people's opinions. And there was mention of possibly a buffalo chicken version of these loaded tots as well. But it doesn't look like it's currently available.
Yeah, I feel like that's another thing where sometimes they'll just throw something on the menu for a season and then it's gone and it may or may not come back ever. That happens fairly often with these kinds of things. And then some things stay around forever and they never go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So these are, again, from Friar's Nook. This was one that I found on several blogs, but also our friend Allie, if you know Mystic Phoenix 42, she's in my chat over here. She had suggested these to us on our Discord page. So wanted to give her a shout out. Thank you for your input. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much for that input. Erin says if that doesn't scream America, I don't know what does. I love that.
Yeah.
And they call them tots and not potato barrels. I've never even heard the term potato barrels. Is that a thing?
Oh.
People call them potato barrels?
I don't know. Do they?
I've never heard that term. Is that maybe a pocket of America that calls them that? It's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I've always heard them tater tots. So
I found a better map so we can show closer up where this is. It's even labeled. Look at that.
Yes. So this is the Friar's Nook, which is that brown building directly in the center of the map that Kate is showing us. So you can see it's kind of between Princess Fairytale Hall and Storybook Treats and like Winnie the Pooh, that kind of area.
And it's, right next to Storybook Treats, which is, we'll get to Storybook Treats, right?
Oh, Allie is speculating, yes, we will, that barrels are possibly, they're called barrels at Hollywood.
Oh, in Toy Story Land? Toy Story Land is what Erin says. Yeah.
That could be.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. interchangeable tater tots. Look at that.
Oh
Learning
yeah,
new
Kirk
food
is saying Woody's calls them potato barrels.
Okay, so it's a Woody thing. That makes sense. I think I have heard that before,
Yeah.
but not like outside of Disney. Tater tot is a
Right.
brand? I don't. It might be.
I don't know.
I have to do research on that. Is tater tots?
I don't know. Quick, Google it.
I need to know.
So those loaded tots, again, they are creamy bacon mac and cheese, and they will cost you $11.49.
So that looks like it's a pretty filling dish too. I haven't
Yeah.
actually tried that one, just because it's a lot of bacon and mac and cheese, and I don't want to go into like a food coma while I'm on my vacation. I mean, I kind of do.
Right. Right. Well, and we will say that some of these may be snacks to some, but meals to others, and we've talked about that a little bit on our previous episode. So we're going for like the small dishes. So even if some of these are like, well, I would probably eat that for a full meal, that very well could be. Because I know like when I go to the parks, I don't eat a ton. So something like that would be a meal, and I'd be good for a long time after that.
Yes, me too. Oh, KDO says tater tot is branded by Oreida. Oh, yay! You know, Oreida stands for Oregon, Idaho. So, just saying, got good potatoes over here.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Mostly in Idaho. Maybe not as much Oregon. Anyway.
Yeah, people in my comments are chiming in saying, yeah, that they're a little bit, it may be a little bit bigger of a serving than a snack would be considered. So, which
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. But for some, it may be something that they just want to, shareable snack maybe between you and a couple others.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is a couple of our snacks tonight are kind of in that category of it's maybe a meal, maybe a snack, depending on your particular appetite.
Yeah. I got a question. The tots are $11.49 from Friar's Nook. So $11.49 will get you that lovely sized portion. And really, honestly, despite some people claim that Disney food is overpriced, you really can tell by the price how much you're getting. If we jump back to looking at the Bear Claw was only $6.25. So it's good. Most of the time that's going to give you an idea of kind of, if you're comparing the two, what the size and the portions look like. So those tater tots are going to be a bigger portion for that $11.49.
Yep, absolutely. That is true, that you can tell if you're going to get a little more food. I think the only exception to that is the food festivals. Sometimes it's really up in the air how much food you're going to get for that, because just depending on what the ingredients they use. So.
Right, absolutely. I think that's true. So, take it with a grain of salt and maybe try to scope out and see if anyone orders it before you.
But don't be creepy.
Don't do it.
Don't be creepy. All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Perfect. Let's go.
This one, I have to say, is actually one that I'm going to give credit to Kirk. I don't do that very often, but I will. Kirk from Walrus Carp, Hacks, Snacks, and Fun Facts. In case you don't follow him, give him a follow, please, because he does help us a lot with a lot of our research and things. He actually got me a Nutella banana peanut butter sandwich from Tortuga Tavern, and I have to say I'm already thinking about getting it again the next time I go. So Kirk, I'll give you that. We'll talk about Hollywood Studios another day, but I will give you that this was actually, for someone who feels like I'm in a food desert in MK sometimes because I don't like a lot of the options there. I feel like this was a solid one. I don't know if, I'll pull up the picture if you want to get the description here.
So again, this is another one that could be shareable or potentially a full meal for some, is the Nutella banana peanut butter sandwich from Tortuga Tavern. And it is served with house-made chips, which is why, to me, it kind of makes it a little bit more meal-like than snack-like, depending on your preferences. This was one that was suggested to us from Kirk at Walrus Carp, so that would be a good option there. It will run you $10.29.
And I have to say, I'm just reading Kirk's comment. Okay. He wants me to send him this live download so he can get a new ringtone. No, not for me. Nope. Maybe one of the times you hear me say you're right. I will say that
Oh
the
my
chips
gosh.
that come with this it's a bizarre combination. Like it's like these like house-made chips with it. And like they're not bad chips. They're just like
Yeah.
awkward with this sandwich.
They
I
don't
would rather
pair.
have like maybe some fresh fruit or something with this. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Or just something different on the side because it does feel very strange to be eating this like
Yeah.
sweet sandwich with these like chips that I don't know if they really go with it. And I think they are not necessary. I think they could just sell the sandwich and be
Yeah.
good. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that would make sense. A couple people were asking about Tortuga Tavern. So the thing about Tortuga Tavern, because people are saying it's a hidden gem, the hours are limited there. I think they're only open like 11 to 5.
Yeah.
And I believe in slow season,
It's just closed.
oftentimes it's closed.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one that you have to kind of scope out. And it is, yep, right there kind of in the center, directly across from Pirates of the Caribbean, basically.
And there is a lot of good seating in there, even if when it's closed, as long as the seating's open, there's a lot of nice places to sit in there. I
Yeah.
would prefer that over Pecos Bill. Pecos Bill, like, gives me so much. Pecos Bill gives me a lot of anxiety, like eating in there, because it's so loud and some of it's really dark, and I just like there's so many people. So if you're
Yeah.
somebody who's like I need to get away from people a little bit and have a little more space to breathe, some of the seating at Tortuga Tavern is a better place, even if you need to take your food over there from somewhere else. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Allie, that explains why you never found it, because it's very limited. Yeah, Kirk says it's open whenever they want to be, and usually based on crowds.
Yeah.
Joanne asked what kind of bread the sandwich is on, and I haven't found a good answer other than Kirk said it's a thicker bread that's buttered and
like
toasted.
white bread. I feel like it was some sort of white bread that was toasted, but I would have to look it up to be sure.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking around to see really quick if I could find it, but it doesn't.
And Christina says she never eats inside of Pecos. Yeah, I just like even if I get food from there, I don't ever eat on the inside anymore. I just can't. There's too many people. It's so people-y.
Yeah, and it's so, I will say about Pecos, it is so hard to navigate inside that building,
Yeah.
especially if you've got strollers and kids
Food.
and trays and nope.
Yeah, Kirk
Nope.
says he's kind of sworn off Pecos, and also maybe it's a country white bread is what Kirk says. Perhaps a
Okay,
country
yeah,
white
I'm not
bread.
finding anything else, Joanne. I'll keep looking, and if I find anything, I'll tag you and post it on Discord. Yeah, like a white bread or Texas toast is what Ellie's saying. That's probably what I would say too, something like that. Oh, I am getting comments here that the upper seating at Pecos is nice and quiet.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you want to go upstairs, which is the same at Columbia Harbor House, is the same way. It's not necessarily quiet up there, but a lot of people don't know you can go upstairs. So
Yeah.
especially when it's slow, like I've sat with an entire room by myself, and I like to read while I eat when I'm by myself. So it's a nice quiet place to read. I'm such a nerd. Okay, should we move on?
Sure. Absolutely.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, I got to get back to my list here. Okay. So moving on, we've done quite a few savory options. Let's go back to a sweet treat. So this is another one that Kirk sent in as a suggestion, and that is the citrus swirl, which Kate is showing us, which if you have followed him for any amount of time, you know that is one of his absolute favorites. It is one that can come and go, because for a while I know he lamented about the fact that it was not available.
We
but
heard about that.
Yes. So that is found at Sunshine Tree Terrace, and it will run you $5.29.
Here, let me.
And it's
pull
a
up.
good sized portion of ice cream. I would definitely say it could be easily shared.
It is right in the entrance. So right past the spring roll cart, keep walking. You'll see it on the right. The entrance from the hub into Adventureland is where you'll find the Sunshine Tree Terrace.
Yes, and again, that is $5.29 for that. And it is. Oh, sorry. I was like, oh, there's more here. I forgot that you put the honorable mention from that on there.
I did, yes. Well, I'll also, so I want to say that while I do like the citrus swirl, I have so much nostalgia for like the creamsicle flavor. So it brings, it's more of like a childhood thing for me. So I really like the orange and cream swirl, which is different than the citrus swirl. You can see them side by side. They're different
Yeah.
colors, they're different flavors, different textures. It's more of an orange Dole Whip, if you want to think of it that way, blended with swirled with vanilla ice cream. So I tend to get the orange one more. Kirk's gonna hate me for this, but just because it's nostalgic for me, that's the only
Yeah.
reason. I'm not claiming that it's better. I'm just saying that's what I really like to get there. So it's also a solid choice. I'll say that.
Yes.
And
Yes,
then
absolutely.
Kirk also says it's great as a float over orange Fanta or just as the
Oh.
ice cream. So there's a few options of how to get it. And I have to tell you, please mobile order there, please.
Yes.
I've seen so many people in extremely long lines waiting for Sunshine Tree Terrace. It's not worth it. Just do the mobile order and you won't have
Yep.
to wait nearly as long as the people that are standing in line. So,
Yes. And you can mobile order Dole Whip varieties, let's just put it that way, there, whereas you cannot at Aloha Isle.
yeah. Yeah.
So
You
keep
gotta
that in
stand line
mind. Yes. Yes. So keep that in mind when you so choose what type of ice cream you may be partaking in.
I'll never
It's a good
understand why
option.
they don't have the entire menu on mobile order. Like, what?
I don't know either. It doesn't make sense.
Drives me nuts. I'm like, come on. Like, why
Yeah.
don't you have all the options?
Yeah. Ooh, Ellie says I always get the pineapple raspberry swirl. That
That
also
sounds really
sounds
good.
very good.
Doesn't? So who doesn't mobile order everything, right? Well, okay. So there's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable mobile ordering, which I understand. You know, there's some people that
Yeah.
struggle with technology, and I get that. It's funny though because Disneyland, the culture is not to mobile order. Like people don't feel comfortable with it. They're happy like standing in line. So like the beignet line is always like around the corner, and I'm like literally, I just ordered it and walked on up. So Disneyland's culture is like kind of anti-mobile order in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, and Disney World's adopted it more, I think, because people plan it for their trip versus the locals that are just used to what they do.
Right.
So kind of
Right.
interesting.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ellie says her Apple Pay never works on mobile ordering, so she gave up.
Oh, boo.
Might need
See,
to reset that.
Apple Pay's finicky. I get that.
Yeah, Lem, I'm not surprised that you don't mobile order because then you have to plan ahead. Listen,
You don't always have to plan ahead. A lot of them are like instant.
it's true. A lot of them are. We like to mobile order our ice cream as we're getting ready to like scope out our spot for the fireworks. So we've done that in the past before because one, it helps keep my kids entertained as we're just like sitting there waiting for fireworks. We can feed them ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's easy because then sometimes even we'll like, stake out our spot, do our mobile order, and then either like myself or my husband will go get it and bring it back to where we are.
I think it's really helpful for families. I know
Yeah.
my husband, he's kind of the one who's in charge of like feeding us when we go to Disney. He makes sure we order food before we get all cranky. And so
Yeah.
I have specific memories of him. We're standing in line for Small World and he's got the app out and he's like asking each kid, what do you want? What do you want? And we're like putting it in and like getting it all set to go. And then it was super easy after that. We didn't have to stand in line and then try to remember what everybody wanted and everything. It made it so much easier. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's a huge blessing for families, quite honestly. It makes
Especially
it
when
easier.
you're ordering for multiple adults and multiple kids to keep it all straight. Like you're going to end up writing it down anyway, so you might as well just
plug it in and go.
plug it into
Yeah.
your phone and go. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
Lem claims he's tested it. It's faster to just order and get your food than mobile ordering at the restaurant. I don't know about that.
You know, that hasn't been my experience because I've watched myself walk in. So like I say I'm here while I'm walking there. It pops up when I go right to the window and I've bypassed everybody that's in line
Yeah.
multiple times. So you just have to, if you
Yeah.
don't hit I'm here until you're physically in the restaurant, then you might be waiting as long as people in line.
You got to know how to
So,
time it out. You got to listen to our show for all of the tips that we give.
all right. So Katie Moon
Kirk
says
is saying that. Go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, Katie Moon says she parks with her kids and then her hubby gets the food, but he missed fireworks once. She keeps hearing
Ooh.
about it. Whoops. Oops. We'll time that better
Kirk
next
is
time.
saying Woody's Lunchbox is really the only place that mobile order is like hours away when you place one. Yeah, I agree with that, where you can't always get a current time within the next like 20 minutes or so.
There's a couple places at Disneyland like that, especially if you're doing mobile ordering in the evening. You want to plan ahead for any of your evening food because some of the restaurants will just be full up because of the locals coming in the park to order food. So,
Yeah.
Disneyland's
And it used
like
to
that
be
too.
worse with that in Disney World during the pandemic. I know when we went during some of that time, we had to mobile order our dinner at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
It's
they were
gotten
only
better.
doing mobile orders for a while. So it's gotten better, but I would still highly suggest you mobile order when you can.
Yeah, I mean, just plan ahead. Think, an hour or two before dinner at least, start thinking about what you might want to
Yeah.
eat and then just make it happen. So,
Yeah. Yes, that means planning ahead, Lem.
should we move on to our next snack?
Yes,
It's somewhat
let's
related
go.
to our last one.
Yes, yes. So we were just mentioning Sunshine Tree Terrace, and then I briefly mentioned Aloha Isle, which is another place that you can get the soft serve Dole Whip style. So let's talk about the Tropical Serenade, which is a pineapple orange guava juice with coconut soft serve and an upside down pineapple cake pop.
Yeah, so Pog. If you like the Pog juice,
Yes.
this is the place you can get it with the ice cream with it.
Yes. Yes. Which, as I was looking at this, I was like, I didn't even know that existed. That sounds delicious.
I know. I just don't, if you can you mobile order it?
No, you cannot, because it's at Aloha Isle and you cannot mobile order there.
You can mobile order some things there, can't you? I'm going to check.
You can double check. Last I checked, you could not, but
I've mobile ordered there in the past, so I don't know if
Okay.
maybe they've changed that.
subject to availability. Again,
Yeah,
Like
the
we've
coconut
talked
ice
about.
cream. I used to love the Kakamora float that they had there. But you can see right there that across from Aladdin's carpets, it's in the Sunshine Pavilion, so it's right next to
Yes.
the Tiki Room.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to miss. It's where actually Sunshine Tree Terrace used to be there, and Aloha Isle was the
Yes.
other place. And because Aloha Isle had such long lines for Dole Whips, they actually switched them their location. So sometimes when people haven't been to the parks in years and years and years, they actually go to the other one. And they're like, wait a minute.
confused about which one to go to.
Yeah. So
Oh, Ellie says they turned the mobile order off over the summer.
see, I was like,
So maybe
"I've
it's a
mobile ordered
seasonal thing.
there." Interesting.
That very well could be. So
The Kakamora Kate. Thanks, Kirk. Okay.
anyway, so that Tropical Serenade will run you $7.49 from Aloha Island. Again, that is that Pog juice, pineapple, orange, and guava with coconut soft serve and an upside down pineapple cake pop.
Which is funny because when I first read that, I was like, I thought the cake pop was upside down. And then
Yeah,
I
that's
realized
why
it was
I kept hesitating how to phrase that to make it sound
the pineapple
right?
upside down. Cake.
Yes, pineapple upside down cake pop.
Yeah. This one looks like that.
Yes. Perfect.
Oh gosh.
Sounds good. Looks good. So, and Aloha Isle mobile order to be determined. We're not really sure. Possibly you can. Possibly
Just check
maybe
when
not.
you're there.
So, double check your app when you're there and see if it's available. 'Cause
All right.
There's no way to tell for sure.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to something that I love with a passion. And I don't
Kirk
love a
says
lot.
there's currently no mobile order available there. Thank you, Kirk.
There you go.
Appreciate you checking for us.
Confirmation.
I cannot check because my phone is here.
All right.
Yes, it is a right side up pineapple cake, technically.
Right side up. I don't know. Is it upside down on the inside of the pop? It probably just flavored like
I
it.
don't
It probably
know.
didn't look like anything.
Now
on the
we need
inside,
someone
just
to
cake
try it
pop.
for us.
I wish we knew some live streamers that were in the parks all the time that could try
That like
it.
to try different things while they're on their live stream. That would be helpful, wouldn't it?
I know. Inside out and upside down. Shall we move on to our next snack?
Yes, absolutely. So this is another one that could be perceived as a full meal, could be a snack or maybe a shareable snack. But we are talking the chicken waffle sandwich options. Da da da! From Sleepy Hollow. And there are two options that they have. They have the sweet and spicy chicken waffle sandwich, which is what Kate is showing there. And that will run you $11.59. And it is a broccoli slaw with a honey sriracha glaze served with house-made chips as well.
It is so good. It is a little tiny bit spicy. Tiny, not a lot.
Yeah.
I don't love spicy food, but I love this. It's just like the perfect amount of glaze and crunch and slaw. It's just really good. And it's filling.
So that one again, like I said, is $11.59. And our friend Eliza, aka DC to London, on our Discord channel had suggested that one as well. So shout out to her. Thank you for your input. We appreciate you. So that is the kind of lunch option. They also
they're asking where it is, so maybe we should just point out where these are.
Yes, that's fine. Yep. So at Sleepy Hollow, which my eyes are so bad I cannot see.
It's this big giant complex that is right there that looks like red and gray.
Yep, so it's right on the corner. So as you're going towards like Hall of Presidents and Haunted Mansion, it is that red roof right there on the corner that you can get that at,
so like
at Sleepy Hollow.
The hub with the castle, go across the bridge in Liberty Square. It's right on the right. Very hard to miss. Looks like from Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane. It's like modeled after things in that town. So,
so that's where you'll find that. Again, that the chicken sandwich one will run you $11.59.
It's really good.
I have lots of people in my chat also saying how delicious it is and how much they like it and all of that. So definitely one to try.
It can easily be a meal. I have it as a meal all the time. So if it's filling enough to be a meal. But you could also have it as a snack if you split it or if you just have a big appetite.
Yeah. And then the earlier option earlier in the day that you can find there is the fresh fruit waffle sandwich, which this is on my list because I haven't tried it and I really need to try it. So it is served with strawberries, banana, blueberries, and the chocolate hazelnut spread. And that one will run you $8.49.
So it's a little cheaper than the chicken one.
Yes.
But it's very filling as well. That's like a perfect combination of crispy waffle with sweet Nutella and then the fresh fruit. It's just so good. Yeah, so that one, I get both of these waffles. They're like my go-to. When I'm hungry, I don't want to think about what I want to eat. I just want to eat something and I know that it's going to be good. This is where I go. And you can mobile order it, which I recommend because that line can get really long. So
yeah, especially if you're talking like parade times and times where there are like crowds that congregate along there, because that is where the parade route comes. It will be very, very busy. So like around noon, that line is going to be crazy.
Yeah, just mobile order. Just save yourself the hassle. Kirk's asking me this or the Nutella banana Sammy. That's a tough call. I almost feel like I need to get them side by side and decide, but I would almost
say that the sandwich needed more fruit and the waffle has the fruit.
I honestly would say this. It nudges it out this much only because I like the crispiness of the waffle and I don't like soggy bread. That's not my thing. Although to be fair, that sandwich was not like super soggy, but the waffle was just a little bit crispier. So, and it had a lot of fruit on it. So I think that the waffle nudges it out, but only by a hair. I think they're both really good.
Yeah, Joanne, that's a really great hack. She said that's my favorite, getting the sandwich and then watching the parade from there. Along that route is one of my favorite places to watch the parade too. So that would definitely be a good thing if you can mobile order, pick it up, and then scope out your spot. You're good to go. You can enjoy your snack while waiting for the parade.
So good. So then we have, let's see, we already showed where it was, right?
Yes,
you got that?
we did.
Okay.
We did. Again, so just to recap, the chicken and waffle sandwich will run you $11.59 and is served with chips, and the fruit and Nutella waffle will run you $8.49.
Yeah, which is fairly reasonably priced for what you get, I'm going to say, with a lot of fresh fruit. Sometimes just a little thing of fresh
Yeah.
fruit is like $5 plus, you know? So
Yeah.
it's a good price.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, let's keep on keeping on. We've got quite a few more still to share. Like we
know.
said, we
More than
started
10.
off trying to do 10, and then it became 10-ish. So
We're creeping
It is what
towards
it
20.
is.
We'll try to reel it in for our next one.
will we though? Because we're going
I
to
don't know.
Epcot next. I don't know that that's going to happen.
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't know.
All right,
Probably not at
so-
Epcot.
yeah,
Maybe at
probably
Hollywood
not.
Studios. Anyway,
No comment. I'm not putting myself in the middle of this conversation. I refuse.
anyway.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's talk some more ice cream. Let's talk a little bit more traditional ice cream and the Hi-Ho Sundae.
Which is like really like my pick. I actually got 2 of these on my last trip, which not at the same time, but I've actually fallen in love a little bit with this, which is funny because it's not like crazy amazing. It's just tastes good. It's good.
Yeah. So it is chocolate soft serve topped with chocolate rocks, graham cracker pieces, whipped cream, and hot fudge.
And I will say that it doesn't always look exactly like this beautiful Disney picture. A lot of the times when you get it, it looks a lot more like this. So prepare
A little
yourself.
melty. Yeah.
It might not be photogenic, but it does taste really good. So
Yeah. Yeah. So Gary is asking where it's located. That is at Storybook Treats,
Here, I'll pull it
which
up.
is, we're jumping back to Fantasyland. I thought I had these in a better order, but I kind of made us hop around. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So Storybook Treats is the yellow roof that you see right directly in between Friar's Nook, where we talked about the tots earlier, and Winnie the Pooh, which is directly next to it on that side. So Storybook Treats is where you can find the Hi-Ho Sundae.
Yeah, this is the Hi-Ho Sundae. Someone asked what this
Yep.
was.
Yep, and it will run you $7.79 for the sundae.
Kirk is talking about how much I love this sundae. And if I wasn't married to Elliot, it would have a ring on it. I don't love it that much. It's not like the
That's a little
raspberry rose
extreme.
macaron, okay? But I do like it. I did like also the lemon, like ice cream cone they have there, like the Snow White lemon cone. But it got really messy when it melted really fast in the heat, and it was
Yeah.
like dripping from the bottom because it goes through the cone. So it was
And
like
those cones are not sturdy enough for
No.
that.
like the soft serve itself was really good if you like lemon, but I don't recommend it getting it in a cone, or maybe getting it in a dish that you can put it in if it starts to leak would be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Kirk has had a similar issue with those cones before, so. Thank you, Joanne.
Tati asked, do you have a snack I would put a ring on? And that would be the raspberry rose macaron in Disneyland in Jolly Holiday Bakery, which we'll talk about more when we get to Disneyland.
Yes.
Maybe that's the one we'll have to get
absolutely.
when we go there.
Yes, absolutely. Kirk is also requesting to co-host the Hollywood Studios episode, so
Oh,
I don't know how I feel about that.
wow, that would be a wild ride. Okay, we'll talk
I
about
feel
it.
like I would just be playing like mediator that whole time, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Poor Jackie. I don't know if we want to do that to Jackie.
Yeah, maybe just have a distillery debate about snacks at Hollywood Studios.
Jackie, what is a snack you would put a ring on? Tati's asking.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, because I don't eat a ton in the parks. So I don't know. Let me come back to that after my next trip, because my next trip,
Okay.
my goal is to try some of these things.
Okay.
So I'm not
All right.
sure as of now. I'm a sucker for soft pretzels just in general.
I know, me too.
So probably
Even though they're not like the best pretzels. I still like them.
yeah, exactly. So if I had to answer that now, probably some form of pretzel. Because I really like the pretzel in Epcot in the Germany Pavilion. That's one of the ones that I usually get. So if I had to choose, but I need to do more research first.
We got to get you out to Pim's Test Kitchen and get the pretzels there, because there's several good pretzels at Pim's
I
Test
love a
Kitchen.
good pretzel. Kirk says he's going to buy me a baseline pretzel next trip. Okay, we'll see. I can compare.
All right, shall we move on to? We've got
Yes.
3 or 4 more items here.
4 more to talk about. We're getting there.
Okay.
All right, Kirk, you're up again. This is one that Kirk talks endlessly about on his streams. If you've ever followed him or heard his live streams. And this is the cinnamon roll from Gaston's Tavern in all of its
Just
glory. Yes. And a pro tip from Kirk is to ask for extra icing if you are going to partake in this cinnamon roll from Gaston's.
They usually put it on the side, right? I feel like they
The
do.
extra, yes, they'll put it on the side for you.
So you can
Kirk says
decide
this
how
is
much
what
you
I
want.
would put a ring on it, and Mel would also marry it.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. So yes, this is the Gaston's Tavern cinnamon roll, and it is $6.79, and you can find that in Gaston's Tavern, which is
In the back there, at the top of
Yep.
the screen, you'll see, well, not top, but close to the top.
Yep. So it's in that little plaza area between Be Our Guest and the Little Mermaid area, where the big statue fountain. Is it a fountain or is it just a statue
It's a fountain.
in that plaza? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's a
So you
statue.
can-
There's fountain out.
Right.
There's water
I know,
involved.
that's why I was like, is there water or not? I couldn't remember.
I think there's water involved.
Yes. Okay.
I
It is a
remember when we
fountain. Okay.
stared at it for like a year when Kirk was looking for that hidden Mickey. So.
Oh, the hidden Mickey. I forgot about that.
I feel like I know that fountain very well now. So
That is true. That is true. So yes, again, ask for extra icing if you're going to partake in that. And I believe Kirk has mentioned also the earlier in the day you get them, the fresher they are, the better they taste. So
which
keep
is
that
also
in mind
true
as
of
well.
the donuts, like I talked about in the previous episode. You know, they're better earlier in the day because they're fresh. So
Yep. So
Get 'em
keep
while
that in
they're hot.
mind. Again, $6.79 for that cinnamon roll. And yet Kirk is saying before 2 p.m. is better. So
that makes
there you
sense.
go.
That's
Yeah.
really what I'd want to enjoy a cinnamon roll anyway. Is
Yeah.
earlier in the day.
Yeah, I agree. Although, late night snack, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, and the one thing about that location is they do not have mobile order, so the line can get long. So you want to time that accordingly.
Well, I see. That's when if you rope drop, most people are coming into the park around 10:30, 11. So that's a perfect time in the morning to go take a break because the lines get long virtually everywhere. So if you've done rope drop, you do a whole bunch of rides, and then you plan to have a snack kind of mid morning or late morning, that or do an early lunch. You could do because there's some good lunch options too. But that's usually what we tend to do so that we
Yeah.
don't end up in all those crowds trying to eat lunch at like noon. So we kind of just offset our time. We eat early and then we eat later in the afternoon before the dinner
Yeah.
rush. So
Yeah, someone else was mentioning that. I don't remember who it was in the chat earlier about, kind of offsetting your meal time so you don't have to worry about those long lines. So that is an option if you've got that flexibility.
yeah, and seating too. Yeah, it's tougher when you have kiddos, but if they've been up really early, they'll be ready to eat by like 10:30 in the morning. They're ready.
Yeah.
They're probably ready
Yeah.
for lunch by that point. So
Right, absolutely. So might as well get them a little bit of sugar with their lunch, right? When at Disney,
course.
you got to try all the good stuff. So
rules don't apply at Disney. It's fine.
Exactly.
I mean, those food rules. I should say rules still apply. Food rules don't apply. Oh
Food
gosh,
rules.
you get in trouble now.
Yeah, for real. Goodness gracious. Okay, so that again was the cinnamon roll at Gaston's Tavern for $6.79. Staying in the kind of sweet palette, let's talk about another sweet treat that is not too far around the corner, the Cheshire Cat Tail. If you were with us on our episode last week when we talked about Animal Kingdom, we talked about the tiger tail there. This is the exact same thing. The only thing that's different is the frosting on top is a different color and a different kind of design on there. So it is a flaky pastry filled with vanilla cream and semi-sweet chocolate chips and topped with a colorful icing. And
we'll
it
say.
is
Oh, go ahead.
$5.79.
$5.79 here, and we'll show where it's at too.
Yep, so this you can actually get in two different locations. The Cheshire Cafe, which is Why?
It's the
The
pink
words
one.
for that is like right in the middle of the walkway.
Yeah, I know. It's the pink one.
The pink roof. The pink roof. And then you can also get it at Cosmic Rays, which is down at the bottom of that map where Kate is showing us. Sorry, that just cracked me up that the Cheshire Cafe is in the middle of the walkway.
Yeah, it's located near the Mad Tea Party, in case you're listening to this on the podcast. It's a little building. It's in the what Disney World thinks is the Alice themed area. Mm-hmm. It's this little area here. I mean, it is Alice themed. Yeah. It's Cheshire Cat.
Yes.
It's just,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just not. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion.
It's a whole other discussion. Day. But yeah.
Yes. So again, that is the Cheshire Cat tail. And it is $5.79. And they, like I said, it's literally the exact same pastry other than just the color on the top of the frosting as the tiger tail that we talked about at Animal Kingdom in our last episode. So if you missed our Animal Kingdom episode, it is available now on our podcast and on our YouTube channel. Links to those are in our bios, so check that out if you're wanting Animal Kingdom info.
Yeah. And I will say about this that so many of these snacks are sweet. I feel like, and we had talked about this with Kirk and Pocket Fan before, that I feel like this is one of the biggest downfalls of Disney World in general, is that there's so many sweet snacks and not nearly enough savory ones. And so you get kind of a sugar overload because they're all really good. But imagine if you had all of these great snacks in a day, it's a tremendous amount of sugar. And I don't have anything against, eating sweets on vacation, but I feel like I just wish there was more options for really good savory snacks.
And for some balance reason, it out a little bit.
There's just not as many. I don't know why.
Right.
We did put a few on this list, though. There's a few.
Yeah, we have a decent mix, but again, it's hard to find. It's hard, even when we talked about, back at the beginning of the show, the candied bacon, it still has brown sugar on it. So it's still got that sweet on it. Yeah.
Even the savory stuff is sweet.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, let's talk about something that is a little bit sweet, but a little bit not. For our next snack here, let's talk about, I briefly mentioned pretzels earlier, so let's talk about a pretzel offering over in Tomorrowland, the cream cheese pretzel that you can find at the lunching pad over in Tomorrowland. And this is one that I would pick, but also our friend Becca at Trav with Becca, who was in my chat a little bit ago. She suggested this one to us on Discord as well, so thank you for your input. That is the cream cheese pretzel at the lunching pad, and it is $7.49.
And it's fairly filling, too, I would say.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you had this one, Jackie?
I have had this one, yes. It is good.
How do you feel about this as a pretzel connoisseur?
It's good. It's not my favorite pretzel I've ever had, but it's good, and it's one that I would get again, for sure.
Do they have, I'm trying to remember if they have it, maybe it's just at Disneyland, the jalapeno pretzel? Jalapeno cheese,
I think pretzel. They do, but I don't know where.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a spicy person.
Okay. Kirk says the jalapeno cheese pretzel, which is located to the right next to Westward Ho, is awesome too. I swear he's like, we're on the same wavelength. That's so funny.
Yeah, there you go. So the lunching pad, if you don't know where that is, can be found basically at the center of Tomorrowland, directly underneath Astro Orbiter. Yep, so on the left side, kind of as you're walking into Tomorrowland from the hub, you basically look straight at it when you walk through that space.
Yeah, it's hard to miss.
So
it's under the giant thing in the middle.
Yeah, around the other side from where you would enter to get on Astro Orbiter, it's around that side.
Okay, so shall we move on to our next?
Excuse me, sorry.
What's our last one?
Yes. Yeah, so that was... My watch is talking to me. Oh, my goodness.
You're not part of this series. Move away.
Get out of here. I don't need you right now. So that was So that was the last technical snack that we had on our list. However, I did also want to mention, and I felt like Magic Kingdom was a good place to mention, that there are snacks that you might not think about, but are really affordable and helpful for families. And those are the popcorn buckets and getting refills with your popcorn bucket. So a lot of you have seen these in the parks. They're available at every park. They are, and I meant to grab mine and I totally forgot to grab it before I started. I was worried about scissors to open my package and I totally forgot. So many different kinds of popcorn buckets that they have at the parks. The great thing is that the refills are super cost effective. They are only $2.25 for a refill. And when we took our popcorn bucket with us last trip, we just always made sure that it was full. And it was so helpful if our kids were getting squirmy and and they needed a snack. It's like, here, have some popcorn. And it's good popcorn. I mean, it's standard theme park popcorn, but it's also Disney popcorn, and that makes it a little bit better.
Well, Walt Disney was like a huge fan of popcorn. That was part of his thing. He liked orange juice. He liked grilled cheese. He liked chili. He loved popcorn. So popcorn there's a popcorn cart that's right across from his apartment in Disneyland. So popcorn, I think, will probably always be in the parks for that reason, just because Walt Disney loved it. Anyways, it is a great snack. It's great for filler. It's great that everybody can kind of share it. So that you can get a thing and everybody can just kind of pick from it. I think that, popcorn is really great for families. But it is really salty. So
yes,
drink lots of water.
True. Very true. And the popcorn buckets will run you initially around $20. Some of the smaller ones maybe a little less. Some of the more extravagant ones like Figment over there maybe a little bit more, depending. But then regardless of that, your refills are always going to be $2.25. And then you will be able to take that bucket back with you on future trips to get refills.
Yeah. Christina says you need some extra salt after sweating it out in the parks, which is true.
True. True. Yes.
Yeah, and it is low carb too. Yep, that's true for those on a low carb diet.
Yeah. So April asked, can confirm you can take the same bucket back with you the next day and just pay the refill. Yes. So once you purchase the bucket, you can keep that bucket and take it back with you into the parks. And then you'll have the ability to do that refill. So we've purchased buckets in previous trips and taken them back with us at future trips, and had no issue with it in the parks. So
yeah, and
definitely a good hack.
I feel like I've heard mixed things. Maybe this is from Disneyland, but that you could have your receipt from when you purchased it and then show them that you purchased the popcorn bucket on your receipt, and it'll show the date on it, and then you won't actually have to have the bucket. They'll just hand you like the thing, because sometimes you don't want to carry the bucket into the parks, especially if it's like half the size of your body. So that is something I don't want to say that's like for sure. So you could always ask somebody when you go to buy it and say, now can I keep my receipt and use this as proof that I bought this popcorn bucket, and they'll tell you yay or nay.
Yeah. So,
would it matter if you bought the bucket a couple years prior? That's an interesting thing, because I've heard some people have tried to do that and they're like, it's clearly a really old bucket, and people have been like, I'm sorry, that's too old. Some people have heard they didn't have a problem. I feel like sometimes it just depends on who you get on what day. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I'd say probably if it looks at all like it's an older bucket, I wouldn't bet on it, is what I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say if it looks...
Yeah. And you can always ask and see and go from there.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I will say we took one from a previous trip on another trip, but I think they still had that same one recently enough in the park, so there was probably no question about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it's one they're still selling, why would they assume it was from another trip? They wouldn't know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And I know I've seen Kirk do refills on older buckets before, but again, it could be just cast member discretion on that one.
Yeah, Kirk says his opinion is that they're collectible and nostalgic, so they don't usually say anything. So that makes sense. That's also really nice.
Yes. So again, I just wanted to mention that as we talk about snacks, I didn't want to get too much further into kind of this conversation without just throwing it out there.
Sure.
that they do have those options for you. And if you're someone that's like, oh, I want a really cool popcorn bucket, look around right before your trip. Don't look in advance because they rotate through, or they can rotate through popcorn buckets a lot. And they can change them out frequently. So look like within a week or so before your trip to see
or
which
they might
ones,
go really fast, like
right,
some
to
of
see
the
which
really
ones
collectible ones.
have been available. So that way, if you want to have a specific one, now they do have some that they regularly keep. Like through the 50th, they had several that they kept regularly. So just keep that in mind as you're looking. Tati asked, do you think if I bring my 50th bucket one, it will work in October? Again, probably, but there's no way to know for sure.
Yeah. Can you get popcorn buckets online or only in the parks? I don't know if I've ever seen them online except for like resellers.
Yeah, so Kirk just said, yeah, check eBay, Mercari, or even local thrift shops. Great spots for popcorn buckets before a trip. So if you're looking for an older version or even a certain specific one, check there and see. Steffi asked, how can you see which buckets they are selling? I would just do a Google search and look around and see what you can find. A lot of bloggers and people like that will post about them, and just try to find as recent of pictures and information as you can, because again, like I said, they do tend to rotate out of some of those popcorn buckets.
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like so many influencers and Disney content creators do post about like, you know, the next thing in the parks, and so there's lots of people you can follow that will post, you know, the latest and greatest. I know, like for Disneyland, David Vaughn is a good one. He's like always on top of whatever's new that comes out. I feel like Disney Food Blog does a pretty good job of staying on top of at least new food, if not new popcorn buckets.
Right.
So they're great resources for that.
Yeah. Yeah, KDO, I agree. She said, I wish they had a collapsible bucket because they're so big.
Yeah, I know. That's what I always feel like. I'm like, especially if you don't have the stroller life anymore.
Yeah.
It's really awkward to carry a popcorn bucket around all day, not going to lie. Like, I don't want to do it with my kids. So that's where I say, like, the receipt thing might really come in handy, because then you just get the disposable ones. When they're done with it, you just toss it. The little cardboard boxes, they'll hand you that instead. So,
yeah. Yeah, it was nice for us because the way that our stroller worked, we would just hang our popcorn bucket on the handle, and we have like a sit and stand, so like my son would literally just sit in the back as we were wheeling around and just eat the popcorn. So it worked out well for us because we still have the stroller. But yeah, they're definitely something you have to plan accordingly for and make room for. And
yeah, especially thinking about packing at home if you're flying, if you're not taking all of your home like Jacque does in her van, you have to think about room in your suitcase if you want to keep it after and bring it back home. So yes, you know, which you can always clean it out and then stuff it with like other stuff that's in your suitcase. That's usually what I do with it. But this one was a lot harder to get home because it's just awkward and there's not much. It's like, how the heck am I going to pack that? So keep that in mind if you're traveling and trying to take it home.
Yeah, a lot of people have, I believe, planned to use them as like part of their carry-on because they just knew they weren't going to be able to fit it in their suitcase. So they just made it work so that way they could just carry it on the plane with them.
Yeah, you got it. It's my +1.
Exactly. Oh no, Allie said my 0 bucket almost had to be rehomed because he did not fit in her suitcase. Yeah, those ones were an odd shape because they were super long, like this way. So I understand that for sure, because we ended up with, we bought 2 of them because we bought one for a giveaway for Mom Street that we did back in October, and then one for a friend when we went down in October. But yeah, I totally get that. It's like they're a little awkward.
Lori says she didn't get any of these snacks in December and guesses she needs to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it.
That's a reason to plan another trip, right?
Yes, for sure. Love it. So if you guys missed anything that we talked about this evening with our Magic Kingdom snacks, be sure to follow our podcast and our YouTube so that way you can see when our episodes get posted. They will be posted usually within a few days of us completing them on TikTok. You can find them there. And if you missed our Animal Kingdom episode, you can find that currently on our podcast and our YouTube.
Kirk sending me paws.
Yes, I also got the cat paws.
So next week we're going to be headed to Epcot. So we're going to continue our snack series, and we're going to go over to Epcot, which of course has no shortage of wonderful snacks. So that will be a really fun episode, especially because we've talked about festival food, and we'll talk about the next festival as well. But this is specifically stuff that's not festival food. It's stuff that's available all the time. So it's one you can go back and reference whenever you're planning your trip. It's not just for a particular festival.
Absolutely. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that as we were planning to go into Epcot that we made sure that it was stuff that you can find year-round. And again, like Kate mentioned, we talked about Festival of the Arts. If you missed that episode, again, it's available.
Yeah.
And then coming up in March, we're going to be doing a similar type episode for Flower and Garden. So that will be exciting to have Kate in the parks.
I'll be live again from the parks, running around. Hopefully not as close to harmonious time
It was
as
perfect timing. I don't know what you're talking about. It was perfect timing.
Not actually running. Don't do that in the parks. Walk with purpose. No. Don't run.
Yes. So next week we are doing Epcot, and then after that will be Hollywood Studios. And then we're headed to the West Coast. And Kate is just going to be all over the place because she'll be out there too as well. Disneyland. So it'll be great.
Yeah, I'll be live from Disneyland. That'll be the last week of February for our episode there. And talking about Disneyland snacks, which is great because that's like my favorite. That's where I grew up. So
and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And I'll just be Vanna with the pictures for that one.
Yes. It'll be great. It'll be atmospheric. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
And we did mention our shirts earlier, but we do have our wonderful Mom Street USA in a variety of colors, not just this one. These shirts are available at DisneyCicerone.com. There's a link in my bio for that. And also we have stickers from Mom Street USA. Yay. And we also have some beanies and sweatshirts, hoodies. We got hoodies because it's winter and it's cold a lot of places. So we'd rather have that represent not only supporting Mom Street, which helps us to do more giveaways for y'all, but also is just a fun way of being like sporting it in the park. So they're really fun.
Absolutely.
Shirts, very comfortable.
Yes. And all of the money that we make goes back into giveaways, which we will be having our next giveaway here soon. So stay tuned for that. We've got something in the planning stages for what we want to do for that next giveaway. But yeah, definitely check out the links in our bios. If you have not, make sure you're also following our actual Mom Street page. We are super, super close to having 1,000 followers over there. Thank you so much to Lem and Kirk for hyping us up and sharing out our username and our content. We so appreciate both of you. So we are super close over there. So if you're not following over there, make sure you do so. So that way, hopefully by maybe next week, if we get super lucky, we will be able to have one of us go live directly from that account, which is super exciting for us, considering we just started this show in September. So to have you guys all here supporting us is really, truly incredible.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Thank you all. And I feel like we did promise them that if we hit 1,000, we would sing or something.
Oh, there was something about that.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Oh boy.
But
Well, we may have to plan accordingly for that.
We won't put that on the podcast. But anyway, yes, thank you everybody for joining us for such a wonderful episode of Mom Street USA. That was really fun to see all of your comments and all of your opinions about this food. We appreciate you guys and your input. And check out our Pocket Fan Discord if you're not part of it yet. There's a link in both of our bios for that, and that is where you can chat with us anytime. We have a Mom Street channel in there. I also have a Disney Cicerone section for Disney history with a dash of encouragement. So we'd love to see you there offline so we can chat as well, and you can give some input towards next week's show.
Yeah, I'll be posting here shortly about your input for Epcot. So make sure you think about what Epcot foods you like for snack level, kind of, and put those over there so we can include them in our show next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be really fun.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.